In this video, I'll be showing you how to add the perfect drums for your deathcore song. So often, deathcore songs start out with like a dramatic, like big intro, like in songs like A Visceral Wretch or Hymns and Dissonance. But if you like to do like the Slipknot and thrash metal inspired deathcore that I like to do, or just like any type of deathcore, you might want to start out with an intro of cymbal chokes. If you don't know what cymbal chokes are, it's when you hit the cymbal, but then you just cut off the sound with your hand. Maybe you can do an intro like this. That also comes from like a Hammer Down the Nails by Vital Remains, Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse, and other great songs like that. And after that's done, you might want to go into like a traditional blast beat, but like a little, like half the speed of what you would usually do it at. And what I mean is like the, and then you might do like one verse of the cymbal chokes, one verse of the halftime blast beats, and you could like alternate for a while, like. You don't go back to whichever one you were ending with. You would just do a drum fill. And then, like, the main part comes, and then you can switch to a beat of your choice. Now, if you're really, like, a standard player, you might want to do, like, a blast beat. Or you could do, like, some fast double kicks, like, with, like... You can go for some regular blast beats, or if you're like thrash metal inspired by me, you might want to throw in some skank beats. Or you could also do this beat where you just do a snare and a hi-hat at the same time and then two double kicks. I've been loving that a lot recently, and yeah, just repeat that for the main part until you get until another part where you might want to alternate, like maybe you could try a faster beat, or maybe if you've been going fast you can slow down, like maybe instead of you can switch to real blast beats. Well, I did not know I could go that fast, sorry. Or maybe you could do like, you know, a little cymbal choke and then pause for like some like brutal vocal line. You know, sometimes they just have pauses for the vocalist to just do some stuff. Like in Pain Remains 1, Dancing Like Flames, where it's like, they take a pause for like, a world without you isn't meant for me. Or like A Visceral Wretch by Whitechapel, and like Whitechapel songs in general. Or like Demolisher by Slaughter to Prevail. Yeah, and then like, if you're using traditional song structure, the chorus comes, and you'll probably want to add something not too brutal, but like nice and hard to get people pumped into the chorus. Like you could do like, you know, where one hand is doing like, and the other hand's just doing like. So it's like one hand is doing 16th notes and the other is doing 8ths. That's a good one, but that might not fit, so you could maybe do some not traditional blast beats. You could go back to the half blast beat, but probably switch to a different cymbal other than the hi-hat. Although, of course, if you're going for more like groove-oriented deathcore, like in the song "The Saw Is the Law" by Whitechapel, maybe you'll want to go for like, you know, like a crash thing, like. Switch to another groove, like you could switch grooves like yeah, just spice it up in the chorus before going into you the next section, which I would recommend like either making like a very ambient interlude or like a crushingly heavy breakdown. Like it could go from the chorus like feedback guitars ring out before, you know, like coming in with a giant drum fill like. And the important thing is when doing drum fills, you should add some variety. Like, don't keep it minimal to like, you know, the toms and the snare and the bass drums. Like add some weird cymbal hits. Like in my fills, I don't use like the bell of the ride. I actually like using the bell of this crash right here. And I think the bell on this thing actually sounds a lot better than my actual ride. That's the crash bell, and this is the ride bell. Like incorporate some things into your fills that you wouldn't normally use. Like use the bells of things. Or even better, have some object that's not really a part of your kit nearby and like hit it. Like I use this light pole over here in some of my fills. Like I know it seems like a stupid idea to just damage your stuff, but if it's solid and you know won't break, then this could actually come in really handy. Now the next verse or section, you'll go back to the main beat you were doing before, but maybe you'll want to change things up a little bit. Maybe you'll want to stay the same. If you want to stay the same, then just skip over this part of the video. And but if you do want to change it, then you might want to switch beats. But if you don't want to like change it that much, you could just like add some more fills or like do something more on the double pedal or incorporate some different cymbals. Maybe change a beat here and there. Like you don't have to change it that much, but a little change wouldn't hurt. Like if in the first verse, if you were doing like, maybe you could do the same thing, but let's say you go to like a crash. Or maybe even like the bell of a ride cymbal. And yeah, just change little things up a little. Sorry, my double pedal is horribly angled. Okay. Sorry, just quick break. I have to, I'm not that good at doing this stuff. Press that in the ground. And while you're at it, you have to make sure that like your gear can withstand, like if you're a hard-hitting drummer like me or like Vinnie Paul or any of the other like really hard-hitting drummers like Evgeny Novikov, you're gonna want to make sure your equipment can withstand it. Mine certainly can't, because this thing has multiple cracks in it. There's a big crack here, there's a little crack here. This thing, it's doing the best, but I see a crack right here. My ride is holding up very well, actually, and it's the oldest of my cymbals here. And normally you would want thicker sticks than the sticks I have right now, because I have 7 AN sticks. Yeah, this is way too thin. I'd recommend getting like 2 Bs or 5 Bs. Alright, back to the program. So for like your next pre-chorus, I'd recommend changing things up if you don't want to. Like, I just say in each new section, you should change things like a little. And in my current song, I didn't change the verse beat. I just added some new fills. So let's say normally you're just going with, in verse 1, you were doing this. And it was just like straight. and only a couple of small fills, you might want to add a few big fills, like. And maybe instead of going into a faster part, you can make this chorus maybe a breakdown and extend it a little, like if normally it was like, maybe you can make like. But what it all comes down to is what you want to do. I'm just giving you tips for things that you might like. But my best tip I have is that don't worry about what other people decide, like what works for the song. I mean, there's some like things that are like way too out of like case here or out of its place. Like if you just do like a standard AC/DC rock beat in the middle of like deathcore madness, like instead of doing like you do. Obviously that's not gonna work, but maybe you could try like a punk beat. Do what works for you as long as it's like not too out of place, because just you can have creative freedom, but just don't put things that are like ridiculous. This is for all genres, not just metal. There are no limits to what you can do, but if you don't want to be considered kind of crazy, then don't do this over heavy chunky riffs. And for the end of it, just maybe do whatever you want. Maybe what I like to do is that I like to speed up, or I slow down, like a big breakdown, or like the tempo changes drastically, or the time signature, or like add some big fills, maybe a drum break. Like after like the chorus ends, like just a little bit of ambience, and then you come back in like. Change in the song. So a way to build great tension is just like go right from like, you know, your full energy, and then go to like a simple tom build-up fill, and then just slight pause, and then boom, the explosion happens. So what that would look like is like. What it all comes down to is that whether you like my ideas or not, do whatever you want. Another good tip is to like draw some inspiration from your favorite drummers, like maybe add some stuff they did. Like if you're a big fan of Vinnie Paul, then you might as well incorporate more slow grooves than usual. If you're a big fan of Dave Lombardo, you might do a lot of skank beats and big fills. If you're a fan of Austin Archie, you might go like really fast and do some blast beats. If you're a big fan of Evgeny Novikov, you might like do some gravity blasts. And yeah, whatever drummers you like, you should incorporate some stuff. Like you don't have to, but it's just a good idea. Hope this was helpful, and yeah, that's about it.